Hey guys, I'm going to try and do a Facebook Live. I might end up having just to record this and upload it later because the while I love my adopted hometown here in Ocala, Florida, the fact is that in my particular neighborhood there's only two internet service providers, and one sucks and the other is worse. And all weekend my internet's been going in and out, so I might have to, like I said, record this and then upload it. Anyway, so let's see if we can get it done. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to sell, how, in particular, how one guy sold $80 million of coffee in 2019. And he did it without making any claims about how good the coffee is. He didn't make any promises about how you love the coffee. There's no talk about how it was grown on the east side of the mountain on one particular district of Columbia and harvested only by 16-year-old virgin girls wearing gloves that were made of, gloves that were made of leather from the skin of some exotic animal only found in East India. You get my point, right? No promises about any of that. Just, here's our coffee. And he did it by, in case you don't know by now, the company I'm talking about is Black Rifle Coffee. And he did it by creating extreme bonds with the people who he was, with a particular group of people. But the bond he created, now here's the important part, the bond he created had nothing to do at all with coffee. So he created his bond around conservative values and around making fun of liberals. He created around love of gun culture and love of the Second Amendment. And then, boom, coffee. So he makes these comedy routines. He makes these comedy videos. In the comedy video, he espouses masculinity. He espouses guns. He espouses, I mean, there's sexy women, and there's this, and and he objectifies women. He's showing, he's focusing in. His cameraman is focusing in on a girl's on a woman's breast, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All complete, absolute, what you would think of as chauvinistic, right-wing Neanderthal crap. Stuff nobody would ever want to be known for, you would think. And then, pardon me again, and then he never makes a promise about the coffee. I've watched a lot of his videos. I doubt I've watched every one of his videos, but I've watched many of his videos. I've never heard him say it's even good coffee. I've heard him talk about drinking whiskey, but I've never heard him one time say this is awesome coffee. He does these videos. He makes fun of liberals. He makes fun of feminists. He objectifies women. He espouses masculine values, strength and guns and drinking whiskey and hell raising, and then he says, "Here's my coffee." And he's selling $80 million in 2019. He's obviously, we still have some time left, but he's on track to do $80 million in 2019. That's a huge lesson, because here's the deal. Now, see. Okay, we're back. Here's the really cool thing about it, is the fact that he's building his audience like this. Well, there's two things to understand. Number one, he's building his audience like this, and that means he can sell other products to them. It's not just coffee. When he's ready, he can expand into other areas, because people aren't buying it for the coffee. They're buying it to support the. They're buying his coffee to support the message that he is sending, right? So they're not buying his coffee to buy his coffee. They're buying his coffee to support the. What the hell is the word for it? Now I'm drawing a blank. But his thesis, so to speak, his view of the world, the manifesto. That's the word. Thank you. They're supporting his manifesto that he continually is pushing in people's faces. That's number one. Now, he did that, by the way, with a market that's big enough to do it with, so that's important. People think that there's not very many people. There's not very many folks interested in guns, and there's not very many men who are, who are doing using guns and staring at chicks' tits and and all this stuff. People think that that's that we're beyond that, and we're really not. There's like lots and lots of us. So number one, it creates a massive bond with his audience, who's big enough to buy $80 million in coffee, and it allows. So they're only going to buy his coffee. They're not buying anybody else's coffee. It allows for a viral campaign, gets a lot of attention. Number two, and number three, it allows him to expand his product line beyond coffee when he is ready, if he is ready to at any point. Because nobody's buying it for the coffee, they're buying it to support his manifesto. They're buying from him because they agree with him, not because they love the coffee. Although presumably it's good coffee, otherwise they wouldn't keep buying it. Anyway, so that's the deal. Find an audience that's large enough to support you in the style to which you would like to be supported, and then talk to that audience about things that they agree wholeheartedly with, and you can then, as you gather that audience around, as they are entertained and appreciate your message, as they want to get closer to you and support you, you can then sell things to that audience without any product promises, without any claims about the product. They will buy strictly because they love you. So there you are. Cheers, and I'll talk to you later.